Party people in the place to be. What's good? It's number one Chief Rockin' Knicks Universe, your main man, Uncle Freezie. And we're going to speak to you briefly about the letter grades that we are going to give the Knicks front office for their performance at the trade deadline. I am joined by the host of the 718 Boys on Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock, Corey Lee, and also joined by one of the co-hosts and contributor of the Knicks at Night podcast, Coach Malpega's in the building. Fellas,
Knicks
what's
in
good,
the
y'all?
house.
What's good, y'all?
Salute, brothers.
Salute, bro.
Yeah, salute, bro. So we're gonna try to keep it to about 18 minutes or less. I'm just gonna ask just some simple questions about what you guys saw today. I'll start with Corey Lee. Lee, what letter grade would you give the Knicks front office for how they performed at the trade deadline?
Masterfully, and I give him my A.
Okay, Coach. Based on what you saw on the trade deadline, and y'all, everybody, we were rocking earlier with the lead up to the trade deadline, and so there was anticipation, a lot of anticipation. Coach, what letter grade do you give the Knicks front office for their performance at the trade deadline?
I'm going with an overall B plus.
B plus.
Mm-hmm.
B plus. All right. So I feel like I'm in the same range as y'all, right? B plus A somewhere in there. I felt like, but Lee. So why would you give the Knicks front office the letter grade that you gave?
Number one, we kept all our draft capital. Number two, we got the right type of players to fit our profile, our style of basketball. And a lot of it was veteran leadership. And sure, it addressed the most important factor in glaring hole we had, which was our bench.
Okay. Coach, you still there? Coach Cameron went out. He may be having a malfunction. I think that's probably Coach right there. There he is. So Coach, why did you give the Knicks front office a B plus letter grade? You muted. We can't hear you, bro. No, we can't. I can't hear you. All right, so I guess Coach will be back. So I felt like the Knicks front office did a great job of addressing on-court needs and the depth issue. And by bringing back a face that's familiar with the Knicks organization and Tom Thibodeau was a plus. And also bringing in a veteran wing player, a professional scorer, I felt like was a plus. So you really don't have to, for somebody that's 34 years old, spent this many years in the league, you really don't have to teach them much. There's nothing in the league that Bogdanovich has not seen. So by getting a guy that's plug and play, so to speak.
Sorry, gentlemen.
Okay. Yes. So bringing in a guy that's plug and play, so to speak, to me was a plus. Plus bringing in a familiar face, and you didn't really give up much. I think the icing on the cake was the fact that they freed up 2 roster spots, and they didn't have to waive anybody and create dead money against the cap just to execute the trade. And the reason why I say that is because around the league right now, you're seeing teams that made trades and whatever, right? Teams that made trades, whatever. You see them waiving people now, creating dead money just so that they can fit people onto their roster. So, Coach, why did you give them a B plus?
Personally, I think with my heart, I made it a B plus only because I was hoping for a certain player. We didn't want to making the move for. But as far as compared to the rest of the league, what we did and how little we did give up and what we did keep and all the points you just made about the roster spots and the money and all that stuff, I probably would say we're an A. But just for overall with wish list and everything, I would say B plus. That's
Okay.
B plus.
Okay. So Lee, how do you feel about the transactions that were done today? How do you feel like those impact us in the short term and the long run?
As far as I think it's a win-win because I mean we pretty much got expiring contracts. So you know if we do decide to keep on to these cats, we can flip them or anybody else and go out and get that said superstar or that other player that we might need. God forbid that we don't, you know what I'm saying, get to the promised land. So, you know, I mean, it was a good thing.
Okay. So coach, how do you feel about the moves and how will these moves affect the Knicks in the short term and the long term? Or I'm
Well,
sorry, effect. I'm sorry.
yeah. Well, immediately I was gonna say that like this. What's great about the two guys we just got? It's a twofold great thing. Right now, they're used to putting up points on a team that's just not very good. They find a way to score still. When every team they play, no, those are the two guys that were on that team that were going to get them buckets.
Right.
So right now, while we have the injuries, that part of their game, we're probably going to lean on a little more. Their scoring, their ability to score. But the great part of what they both represent when we get all the boys back is they're going to give us that spark off the bench and that much needed scoring we need when our starters and our main scorers are taking a break. They can get the minutes they need, and we can keep up with other teams still during those what before we got these two were the scoring droughts and the lows we've had when the bench is out there.
Okay. Okay. So my short term thing is I feel like it's definitely a great move in the short term because you want to go all in on this season even if you're not going all in on the future, right? A 34-year-old wingman and a 32-year-old Swiss Army knife type of guy in Alec Burks are good for the short term. They'll help you. Their veteran presences. There's nothing in the NBA that either of these players have not seen. So you can bring them in. They'll be plug and play. In the
Playoff
long term,
experience.
in the long term, I'm nervous though because if you're looking to flip Bogdanovic's contract, nobody's going to want to give you anything of value for a 35-year-old wingman that's making $20 million a year, and it may be the same for Alec Burks, where he may not have. I think his value may be diminishing because he's on that other side of 30 and has thousands of NBA miles on him, right? So here's my last question for us, Lee. Do you feel as if the Knicks can win a championship with this team, or if there's one more move to be made this season, and what is that move?
I would say I like what we have. I believe that we are championship bound. We're heading we're heading straight into that direction. And if there is another move to be made, it's going to be in the buyout market,
Okay.
you know, and that'll be it. And and the one player that I'm hoping that'll be in the buyout market is Lowry because he brings that championship experience and that leadership where a player like Deuce McBride can learn from in
Okay.
crucial situations.
Okay. All right. What about you, Coach? Do you think this team is a championship level team, or if there's one more move to be made, and if so, what move is that?
As long as we get back all healthy, yes, I think what we just did was we flipped the script on the Boston Celtics. Because to me, I think that's our major obstacle, coming out of the East and beating them, because they got to deal with a deep, deep team now. Now we're like 10 deep. I mean, we might not be as top heavy as Boston, technically, but we got that. We're gonna just keep coming. Like, there's not gonna be any more breaks now against the Knicks. So with that, and that just bodes well for a long, because the playoffs is a whole nother season.
Right.
There's a lot of games to be played, and there's gonna be a lot of ups and downs, and it gives us that versatility as well with our lineups.
Okay.
And certain points of the game, certain points of the series, depending on who we're playing.
Okay.
So yeah, we're definitely championship level right now.
Right. So I'm gonna say that I feel like this team can win an NBA championship if they do the final piece, right? If they find a veteran point guard on the buyout market that can help them not be hit the game winner in a game 7. Don't get it twisted, right? But a veteran point guard that can help Jalen Brunson and Deuce McBride get this team to the playoffs healthy, right? Help us and break glass in case of emergency minutes, maybe 8 to 12 minutes a night of just steady point guard play, nothing special. Just when they come in, we have a lead, a big lead. When they go out of the game, we have a big lead. Somebody that could just hold it in the road, a student driver almost, a substitute teacher, that type of player. And if we can find that type of player on the buyout market, whether it's Kyle Lowry or Spencer Dinwiddie or a Dennis Schroeder, maybe, we don't know. Some guy, some player like that, if we can find that type of guy to help us, get to the promised land, then Corey Lee, you know what? A player like, you remember when Otis Anderson signed with the Giants and Joe Morris got hurt? Remember when Joe Morris got hurt and Otis Anderson and Maurice Carthon just held it in the road and the Giants won the Super Bowl?
Yeah, and Rodney Hampton. That's what you're talking about.
Rodney Hampton got hurt. I'm sorry. Yeah, Rodney Hampton got hurt. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But that type of scenario where you don't want them to be in that role, right? But you keep them there just in case, and if you do need them, that person can fill in, and then we can hold it. We can hold it in the road. So I want to ask you guys one more question before we get out of here, because I know the game's going to start in a few minutes. How do you guys feel about? I'll start with Coach first. Coach, how do you feel about the departure of Evan Fournier and Quentin Grimes?
Who?
I guess that sums it up, right? Who they? Right? That sums it up, right?
Them ham sandwiches are past the expiration date.
The Yogi Bear picnic is over, right?
Right now, we getting them panini Cuban press sandwiches.
Oh wow,
that's what we got right now.
Well, okay.
You ready?
Okay.
I can't. I'm excited, man. I'm just. It just feels so good to be able to put guys on the perimeter and just. I mean, they're the perfect players for Brunson, Randall. They're just a perfect mix. They're going to be perfect additions to what we need to do on this team.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. My bad, Coach. My bad, Coach. I'm sorry. Lee. So how do you feel about the departure of Fournier and Quentin Grimes?
Hallelujah. I'm like, yo.
You don't see this.
I mean, listen, yo.
This is Fournier during the game. We ain't gonna see this no more.
Right.
Yeah, that too. But I don't have to stand there and be cussing out my television, look at that Quentin Grimes and tell them, take your ass to the basket or something, or not sit your ass down. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be, worried about that, stressed out. You know what I'm saying? Going
Right.
through all my glaucoma medicine and everything, but still, just losing my mind listening to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not to you, but I mean listening to them talk about how he's just so inept in some
Okay.
in
So
certain
so so
aspects.
so you feel like you're glad he's gone. Glad it's over with.
And I wish him the best of luck wherever whatever happens from now on to the rest to the day his career ends.
Okay.
God
Okay.
bless him.
So in these last couple of minutes before we get out of here, because I promised the guys we try to keep it under 18 minutes. So in these last couple of seconds, before we get out of here, I'm just gonna say that um for Evan Fournier, I appreciate you and all the stuff that you went through while you was here. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry you had to end this way, but like a lot of things in life, they, you know, things come to an end. The Quentin Grimes thing, I gave Quentin Grimes a hard time since day one about not being a fit for the Knicks, and so I called him ham sandwich. I called him not everything, but I did call him a ham sandwich, which was disrespectful at the time. It still is. But I will say salute to Quentin Grimes. Thank you for what you did for the New York Knicks. You know what I'm saying? There's no hard feelings. All it is us Knicks fans rooting for our team as hard as we can. And I hope you understand that we appreciated your stuff while your time while you was here. So everybody, thank you for rocking with us. We are gonna get out of here. The Knicks are at the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Peace, everybody.